And a very good evening to you. It's Roy Stannard with the Off the Fence Hooks and Riffs music quiz. I've got my new slogan this week, turning fun into fundraising. So this is a charity quiz on behalf of the homeless charity Off the Fence. And we'll be getting the quiz going any second now. And hopefully we've ironed out all the little glitches that got in the way last week. And got to thank the new sponsors as well. They will be done in Worthing, who specialise in wills and estate planning. So do seek them out if you're looking to secure your affairs at this somewhat worrying time in our history. I'm sitting in my lounge as usual with about 5,000 CDs, all of which give me inspiration for some of the questions that we're going to be running through tonight. Off the Fence is a homeless charity that looks at the best solutions to get people out of sleeping rough, finding them other options, signposting them towards careers and jobs and accommodation. And we work with a couple of hundred of them, and at the moment they're in temporary accommodation, but that won't last for much longer. So any donations tonight via text QIZ quiz to 785 70085 would be great. First question: who had a hit with the Israelites in 1969? Helpfully, I've given you a wonderful early black and white picture to have a look at. Well-known reggae artist. Oh, shouldn't have given that away. But you know me, I'm so generous, I can't help throwing in a few clues along the way. And do get involved in the chat stream, Top Chat. It'd be nice to hear from you. We've got my wife, we've got Paul. And Paul Blackmore of Thy Will Be Done says he's got his A-team on board tonight. So there'll be stiff competition. Question 2, which group released the album Voodoo Lounge? My hair's getting longer. I should be looking like Methuselah or Samson or the strange man-like gorilla that lives in Thailand or whatever. Question 3, what was the Spice Girls' debut single called? Have I got a fixation with the Spice Girls? Possibly. So there was a question last week about the Spice Girls. I think this is from the same photo shoot. But it's the early pictures of the Spice Girls are becoming a little more difficult to find. There's Posh Spice in the middle there. So what was their debut single called? And Paul Blackmore and the Thy Will Be Done team says, we hope the A-team doesn't stand for appalling. I'm sure not. How many are you there tonight, Paul? Let me know. Question 4, the soundtrack to which film was the best-selling album in the UK in 1992? Okay, a massive clue there. Now, there's a little theme running through the quiz. Everybody in the quiz either looks incredibly old or incredibly young. That's because I try to throw you off the beat by finding unusual pictures. This one is particularly unusual. It is a very young pop star. Right, question 5. Hi to Dominic. Hi to Joe Ashdown, by the way. Joe enjoyed it so much the last 2 weeks, so I'm back again, he says. That's because you won it, Joe, last week. And the week before, I think. Question 5. The Pet Shop Boys had a UK Christmas #1 in 1987 with a song that was co-written by country star Willie Nelson. What was the name of the song? You might think Pet Shop Boys and a country singer don't really go together, but they did extremely well in this case. It's beautifully sunny here. We've got people participating. My son, principally from the south of France, so I'm assuming it's incredibly hot down there. Dom, you should let me know. Right, got a little 10, 15-second pause to assimilate the first 5 questions. Thanks to Thy Will Be Done, putting a little bit of information on screen. They're doing incredible deals on will writing at the moment. Question 6. In which decades begin? I don't know whether you sat through that abomination last Saturday when they kind of did a virtual Eurovision with all the best songs from the last 30 or 40 years. I think it's an indication of how little else there is to do at the moment that we actually watch some of it. So it's kind of a topical question, this. And if you watch lots of funny Irish people. Question 7. Which of Michael Jackson's album sold most copies in the UK? Somebody asked for multiple choice questions last week. So here it is. Very easy. You've got a 50-50 chance. Thriller or Bad? Which one of them sold the most copies? Thy Will Be Done says as long as we beat Matt Staples. Well, it might be easy if he's not taking part. I can't see him at the moment. Dominic says it's very hot here. Currently sat in the garden, so the Wi-Fi is called Blonde on Blonde, Blood on the Tracks, and Highway 61 Revisited. I'll give you a clue. It wasn't Cliff Richard. It certainly wasn't the Spice Girls. That doesn't narrow it down much, I don't know. This is quite an easy one, so I won't give you too many clues. So if you are taking part, do let me know via the chat stream, even though it's just putting your name on screen so I know you're there. And then I can abuse you and be rude to you like I am with everybody else. Who JPS is? If you could just illuminate me on that. Question 9. Which song includes the line, "She'll make you take your clothes off and go dancing in the rain"? And to make it really easy, I put the artist on screen. Kate Dio is taking part. Just put a high on screen. She did very well last week. I think she got about 24.5, something like that. So I don't think Joe took part. Did you last week? I can't remember now. I think you did, actually. Was it you got 39 last week? That's an amazing performance. That's probably more than I got, actually. In fact, you're doing the quiz next week. You're hosting it, Joe. Question 10. Who had a #1 hit with Tiger Feet in 1974? Now, just to make it really easy, I've put 2 pictures of the band pretty much as they look now. And one of them has gone on to become a very successful songwriter in his own right, having written songs for all sorts of megastars. Right, the numbers are going up, which is great. The Dios claim they won last week. Well, we'll go with that. Joe hasn't disputed it so far. Right, another 15-second pause to absorb some information and to have a little relax before the next 5 questions. If you're over 60 and considering a power of attorney, well, that's Thy Will Be Done is the place to go. In Goring Road in Worthing. Nice and local from the more recent decades. Whose mum then, JPS? Being cryptic. Which ice cream has been advertised on TV to the tune of It's Now or Never? There's a very silly picture there of Venice. Oh, there's another clue. Not a huge one. Hands up, those people have been to Venice. Come on, I can see you. Okay, virtual hands up. Question 12. This is kind of recent. Which Beatles song was a #1 for Ferrier? And I'm not sure why I've put a picture of the Beatles up there. I'm sure you've all seen pictures of the Beatles before. But just in case, JPS might be very young. Who are these old geezers with the long hair? You might ask the same about me, actually, at the moment. Sun is just beginning to go down there at the moment, looking out to the garden. But I'm taking the Barclays Digital Eagles advice about not having the desktop facing the sun. Question 13. What was the name of the Pet Shop Boys' first hit single? There's 2 questions about the Pet Shop Boys. They must be paying me to do this week. And I found a very silly picture of the Pet Shop Boys, looking more or less as they do now. And if you think I've got a little bit of a shiner on my right eye, I have. It wasn't my wife. It wasn't somebody I encountered in the street. It's a long story, but I was assisting the cat to do something in the bathroom. I won't say what, and tripped over and fell against the sink. Question 14, messages of sympathy, please. Question 14, which football team do Liam and Noel Gallagher of Oasis support? And just to make it interesting, you've got a picture there of Liam Gallagher and his son in the left-hand corner, and Liam and Noel in front of a football stand, which might be a bit misleading. So GPS, what does that stand for? Is it Jean-Paul Sartre? I'll be very impressed. I've got Jean-Paul Sartre taking part in the music quiz. Question 15, what is the name of the female singer in the band Everything But the Girl? And there she is on the left, with the kind of hairstyle that we all had in the 80s, the early 80s. Yeah, it was embarrassing. Doubled as a loo brush, I think. I'm being a bit rude tonight, I'm sorry. I'm in that kind of mood. I'll have some soothing orange juice. Look. There he is. Alright, get down. I like it. Okay, another 5-second pause. Well, that was quick. Question 16. In what year did the Beatles officially split up? It's two about the Beatles this week. I think I'm trying to make it really easy. Cal has just joined us. Hello, Cal. From opposite Preston Park in Brighton. Take the opportunity to say, what are you doing bank holiday Monday, Cal? Might come and see the Roma, the granddaughter. Great it is. I can replace this at Christmas. Replace Christmas cards at Christmas doing this. It'd be brilliant. Have to get everybody with birthdays tuning in. Save me a fortune. Question 17. Okay, we're getting a bit more upmarket now. Rossini composed an overture about what legendary character? Okay, somebody asked me for multiple choice. I think it might have been Jen, actually. Hello, Jen. You're joined the group. About halfway through, you're going to have to work hard to catch up. Multiple choice. Rossini composed an overture about William the Conqueror, William Tell, or King Arthur. I don't think you have to be a classical music fan to get this one. Question 18. Which group had top 10 hits with Gangsters and Nelson Mandela? Just to make it even easier, there's a picture. And that is a picture of what they look like now. If you think they look a little bit decrepit, I guess we all do. But they don't look quite like they did back then, but still recognisable. It should be fairly easy. I'm expecting scores in the high 30s, I think, today, because I've made the quiz a little easier. Anybody who disagrees with me can say so on the chat stream. I notice Joe's not saying much. That suggests he's taking this very seriously indeed. No use of Google, by the way. I'm watching you. I've had the bugs installed. Question 19. What was the name of The Who's drummer who died in 1978. Great band. They were kind of punk before punk happened. Paul Weller cites them as his major influence. But the drummer died in 1978. There's always a death question in the quiz somewhere. Not sure why. We'll be sponsored by a funeral parlour next week. Question 20. So I'm only joking, Paul. What does the word forte mean in music? There's the musical note term there on the screen. Does it mean soft, fast, or loud? Dominic saying, sorry to say I won't be anywhere near the high 30s today. Ha ha ha. Cal inherited the music knowledge genes. I wonder where my Levi's went. There's no music knowledge in those jeans. Been to a few gigs in those. Another short break. Don't have to be old to think about financial planning. And I will be done doing a special offer for NHS workers and people with children under the age of 18 at the moment. Do get in touch. iwill.co.uk. Question 21. How many strings does a ukulele have? You might get a bonus point if I'm feeling generous for the character on screen who was famous for playing ukulele. I know these clues and extra points are getting ever more abstract and obscure. But that's why this quiz is becoming the small and selective cult that it is. By the way, it is in support of Off the Fence, which is a homelessness, vulnerable women and schools charity based in Brighton and Hove, established in 1997. Okay, question 22. Who composed the opera Carmen? And you've got three choices, so I think it was Jen asked for multiple choice. A bit like a school quiz. Mozart, Purcell, or Bizet? Or as we say in Southend, Mozart, Purcell, or Bizet? I don't know if anybody's been watching Harry's Heroes. There's a tenuous link. Sol Campbell is not in Harry's Heroes, but a lot of ex-Arsenal players are. He's now the manager of Southend United. That's my attempt to get Southend United into the quiz. Which instrument did Karen Carpenter play in the Carpenters before becoming lead singer? Played one of the instruments. Better singer, I have to say. Karen Carpenter. What did she play in the Carpenters before she became the front person? Do let me know if the music's too loud, by the way, because this end it's very quiet. I can't actually hear it your end. I think I gave Kate the task of telling me if it's too loud. No comment from her yet. Question 24. In music, how is Gordon Sumner better known? There is a clue on the t-shirt. I'm making this far too easy, I think, this week. Even for Dominic. Some of you joined after the can write on the chat stream which questions you missed, and I might be able to go over those very quickly. We've got 5 minutes at the end of this between the two halves. It is a game of two halves, this quiz. If we do badly in the first half, we might do very well in the second. And we've come to the end of the first half. Vincent Furnier is the real name of which rock star? And to be really unhelpful, I've given you some school days type pictures of him, which at least gives you a kind of clue about how old he is. These are very old pictures. So that is the 25 questions in the first half. So anybody who needs more questions, or the questions you've missed, Alan's telling me the music is quite loud, so let's see if we can do something about that. Take it down a bit. Hope that's okay. Nobody's asking for a reprise of the questions, so I'm going to start giving the answers. Number 1, who had a hit with the Israelites in '69? Desmond Dekker and the Aces. If you only put Desmond Dekker, I'll give you half. No, I won't. I'll give you a full point, because you're going to be short on points anyway, I think. What group released the album Voodoo Lounge? The Rolling Stones. What was the Spice Girls' debut single called? Wannabe. Number 4, the soundtrack to which film was the best-selling album in the UK in 1992? It was The Bodyguard, picture of Whitney Houston. The Pet Shop Boys had a UK Christmas #1 in '87 with a song that was written by Willie Nelson, and it was always on my mind. Actually, I don't think he wrote it. I think he had a hit with it. In which decade did the Eurovision Song Contest begin? The 50s, 56 to be precise. Which Michael Jackson album sold most copies in the UK? Thriller or Bad? Might have caught you out this one. It was Bad. Who has had albums called Blonde on Blonde, Blood on the Tracks, and Highway 61 Revisited? Bob Dylan. I think that was very easy. Which songs? Number 9. Which song includes the line "She'll make you take her clothes off and go dancing in the rain"? It was "Living La Vida Loca" by Ricky Martin. Who had #1 hit with Tiger Feet in 1974? Anybody over the age of 40 must have got this. Mud. Which ice cream has been advertised on TV to the tune of "It's Now or Never"? It was Cornetto. I think that's Walls, Cornetto, but Cornetto will do. Which Beatles song was a #1 for Ferrier? It was "Let It Be." Name of the Pet Shop Boys' first hit single? West End Girls. Which football team do Liam and Noel Gallagher of Oasis support? Man City. What is the name of the female singer in the band Everything But the Girl? You'll be kicking yourselves this. Tracy Thorn. In what year did the Beatles officially split up? 1970. Rossini composed an overture about what legendary character? It was William Tell. Which group had top 10 hits with Gangsters and Nelson Mandela? It was the Specials. What was the name of the Who's drummer? Keith Moon. And what does the word forte mean in music? It means loud, not soft or fast. 21. How many strings does a ukulele have? 4. Who composed the opera Carmen? It was Bizet, not Bizet. Which instrument did Karen Carpenter play in the Carpenters before becoming lead singer? Drums. Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? Drums. A bit different to Keith Moon. In music, how is Gordon Sumner better known? There was an easy clue on the t-shirt. Don't Stand So Close to Me, a big hit for them. Sting, written about his days as a school teacher. And 25, Vincent Furnier is the real name of which rock star? Alice Cooper. Right, now do your tossing up. Let's see who's in the lead in the first half. You put your scores up on the chat stream. However humiliating they might be, you're in good company here. You're amongst friends. You won't tell anyone. I still haven't heard what JPS stands for. Jean-Paul Sartre. I mean, he's a great French philosopher. Poet. Brilliant. The Dios, 15. Callum, 15 so far. That's pretty good. I'm not sure you were there from the beginning, Cal, so you've done very well. Dom, 6. That's because you're now fluent in French. You can't understand English very well. Joe Ashdown, there he is. 18 out of 25, that's very good. That means if you carry on the way you are, you're going to be in the mid-30s. I did say I'd like to see people in the high 30s this week, because I've made them slightly easier, I think, the questions. JPS, 20. Wow. I need to know who this person is. Is it Dio's son? I will be done, 20. Excellent. We're doing very well indeed. The screen has changed, so that means we're just coming up. 15 seconds, 10 seconds time. Thanks to Thy Will Be Done, by the way, for sponsoring this. Very helpful. All the money goes to Off the Fence charity. Right, second half. Question 26. In which year did Simon & Garfunkel release their album Bridge Over Troubled Waters? Another multiple question. 1970, 1973, or 1975? Steve and Chrissy, the Dios, have got 21 and a half. Not sure I gave any half points, but we arrived with that. JPS is on the Thy Will team. Okay, well, you're doing well then. So Simon & Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water, which year was it released? 27. What? I'm not sure if that's what or which. Anyway, which city in South Carolina gave its name to a popular dance in the early 20th century? Look, how easy have I made it? There's a picture of the dance. Great doing the picture research on this. See all sorts of strange images. Jen, oh dear, 5? But you did join late, so we'll let you off. Can you extrapolate that to how many questions you actually did? So if it was only 10 or something, that's not so bad. Right, question 28. Not sure about what musical. I'm going to have to look at the grammarian who put these questions together. Which musical gave Jason Donovan his first starring West End role? I think that's only Just Music. Just qualifies as music, I think. But there's a nice picture there, which probably gives the game away. I hope it's bigger on your screen than mine. Like a gang of ants standing on a street corner. JPS, you should stick to motor racing sponsorship. Right, who sang Anyone Who Had a Heart in 1964? Music's still loud. Okay. Let's see what we can do. So the picture on screen at the moment is the composer. It's got his name on it, so I won't give you any extra points for that. Just take the volume down on that. It should have made a difference. You have to be multi-talented and ambidextrous to do this job. Question 30. Who composed the ballet Sleeping Beauty? I see little classical questions creeping in this week. Paul Blackmore says, can someone stop Debbie singing the answers? Not throwing the answers, singing the answers. Luckily, it's a one-way show, so I can't hear anything. So, who composed the ballet Sleeping Beauty? No multiple choice on this one. And there's somebody on screen having a very painful moment, I think. Right, another little pause. Chance to say thank you to Thy Will Be Done, who are doing very well in the quiz, actually. Two of their team have got 20 each. And who was it who got 21 and a half? The Dios. Steve and Chrissy have 21 and a half. That's very good indeed. 25? Joe, I think you have to watch your laurels for next week. Question 31. What was the title of Oasis's, can you say that? Oasis's 1994 debut single? That is a clue in the picture, actually. I think JPS might get this. What's the title of Oasis' 1994 debut single? Jen and Kate, by the way, have joined us tonight, are part of the Gateway Women's Centre in Brighton, providing a safe place for women to go if they are undergoing extreme circumstances at home or just need some support and help. Question 32. How was 80s music star Stuart Goddard better known? Stuart Goddard. And there is a picture. I won't tell you which of these two characters on screen is Stuart Goddard. I think you probably guess. I think that's in the in Soho somewhere. Right, Joe Ashdown says it's a bit of healthy competition. Never did anyone any harm. Might you do you some harm, Joe? You know, the boys might be out there. I will be done. Says I went to the same school as him. Well, that's a huge clue there, Paul. Callum, love the visual clue. Yeah. Question 33. In what year did Elvis Presley buy Graceland, his home? So 1957, 62 or 68? Cal, Oasis smash hit Jet Through a Cloud. You're quite right. How did you get that? Which year did Elvis buy Graceland? Question 34. What was the name of Chuck Berry's 1972 hit which gave him his first number one? Now you associate Chuck Berry with the 50s and 60s rock and roll, but his first number one it was in 1972. See if you can remember that hit. It's fairly infamous. Yes, JPS, Paul says, I did go to school. Well, I'm glad we've established this. Any questions from the last 20 years? Well, I'll look at the average age of the audience, I think, for next week. Trouble is, if we do too many of those, anybody over 40 is just not going to go anyway. Okay, question 35. I'll see what I can do for you, JPS, if you promise to turn up again next week. Question 35. Does a record turntable revolve clockwise or anti-clockwise? JPS, this is a record turntable. You won't know what it is. It's not something you put drinks on and swivel around. It's that a lazy Susan, isn't it? It's not a lazy Susan. Quite a nice little deck, that. I wish Howard Popek was joining us tonight. He's a hi-fi expert. He'll be able to tell me what that is. I should know what it is. Okay, another little break. There are three prongs to what Off the Fence do. The third prong is schools work under normal scheme. They go into schools to mentor children who are having a bit of a rough time, mainly one-to-one. Question 36. What type of music originated in Seattle in the early 90s associated with Nirvana? I think that's in the last 20 years. That's for JPS, that one. Well done, yeah, I think it is a Technics, actually. Not sure why Technics goes both ways. Oh, yeah, I suppose it might. If you stretch the rubber on it now, I think. Okay, which type of music originated in the early 90s? Actually, no, that's longer than 20 years, isn't it? Okay, 37. Which only UK top 10 single was Oxygen Part 4? JPS. Yeah, you got there before me. 1990s isn't in the last 20 years. It is for the purposes of this quiz. My quiz, if I want it to be in the last 20 years, it will be. Okay, now, whose only UK top 10 single is Oxygen Part 4? That's a picture of him, just to make it really simple. I'll give you a clue. He wasn't English. Paul's getting technical now. Direct Drive. Right, yeah, I think you're right. Question 38. What nationality was the composer Handel? Now you can tell from his hairstyle, obviously. In fact, he looks like most of the people in the UK at the moment. He's got that sort of unkempt look. At least he can take his off. Mine won't come off. So what nationality was the composer Handel? Get a handle on that. Is the music alright now? Somebody can just go thumbs up or something. It's kind of weird, I can hardly hear it. Question 39. Who had a number one in 1960 called Only the Lonely? This is the 1960s in the last 10 years, of course. There's a picture of him. It's a kind of tricky picture. It is actually the artist. Mike Callum says, my religion, age 12. Is that 13? They're singing again. Paul. Pity nobody else can hear it. Might be a clue. Okay, last 10 now. Question 40. Which Dire Straits album was the best-selling album in the UK in the 1980s? I will look for some more recent questions next week, I promise. We're going to get those scores down to the low teens, I think, next week then. JPS in the lead with 21.5. That's pretty good. I think it's the best performance we've seen so far in the half section. So is it 31.5, the best score so far ever? So Thy Will Be Done is sponsoring the quiz. Thank you. I've known Paul Blackmore a long time. Good friend. Debbie, too. Question 41. Which actor had a number one hit in 1975 with the song If? Just to make it more interesting, put some lyrics on the screen. When my love for life is running dry. So you get deep profundity on this program as well. Philosophical lyrics. Multimedia questions, acting and music. There's an extra special question. I have to work hard on that one. Kind of getting into the smooth jazz phase of the soundtrack. Question 42. Which American singer has a backing band called the E Street Band? And I managed to find a picture of them without the lead singer. Just to make it interesting, if I put the singer in, you'd all get it straight away. In fact, it would be a pointless question. You can tell I'm an amateur, don't do this for a living. I actually work with Off the Fence, which is doing its best to raise awareness of the homeless problem in Brighton and Hove. The solution at the moment, putting them in temporary accommodation, is only a temporary solution, and it's likely that the numbers will go up by 3 or 4 times after we all come out of lockdown. Question 43. What is the largest stringed instrument in a classical orchestra? Again, I put some ants on screen for you so you can carefully look at the picture. You might be able to spot the instrument. Tantalising, isn't it? largest stringed instrument, emphasize stringed instrument in a classical orchestra? I'm sure it has to be a classical orchestra. It could be a modern orchestra, as opposed to a trio, I suppose. Nick Price says, hi, Roy. Nick Price? How did Nick Price get in on the action? Another very old friend. So Paul got a message from Nick Price. I don't know who you're going to meet on these occasions. Question 44. Which group had a hit album in 1977 with Arrival? There's a very cryptic clue on screen. Nick Price, by the way, was is a radio presenter and produced very kindly some idents for me for the Sea Haven FM radio show I do. Thursday nights, 7 till 9, get the plug in. Burgess Hill Radio, 5 till 7 on a Sunday. Question 45. Which all-male group spent more weeks on the UK charts in the 1980s than any other group? So all-male, I think, is the key point of this question. Which all-male group spent more weeks on the UK charts in the 1980s than any other group? It is actually very obvious, this one. Give you a clue. Wasn't Queen. So how are you doing? We've only got, I think, 5 left now. So another short interval. 10-15 seconds. So don't forget, I will be done. Based in Worthing. Great company if you want to save a little bit of money. Tax and other things if you're going to get into inheritance tax and other ways of making sure that your retirement is protected. Question 46. Who reached number 7 in the UK charts in 1972 with the single Layla? And there is a picture of the woman who inspired the song Layla. In case you're wondering why a late 60s image of a blonde is doing on screen. She wasn't the singer. So, who reached number 7 in 1972 with Layla in the UK? 47. What is the title of the French national anthem? I put the lyrics on screen. Is it lyrics for a national anthem? Words, exhortation, and for some reason I've got the German there as well, just to be annoying. It doesn't give you the name of the anthem, which is what I need. As I can't see your spelling, you can spell it however you like. French national anthem. I think this is a guaranteed point for everybody. 48. In 1997, that's almost in the last 20 years, which song by D. Ream did the Labour Party adopt as the theme tune to their general election campaign? You remember that? Tony Blair's runaway victory? Seems a long time ago now. We had proper politicians. Well, I know that's a matter of opinion. In 1997, the Labour Party adopted the D. Ream song as their campaign tune. What was it? Dominic, it's an absolute tune of the song. I thought you might like that one, Dom. Question 49. Which of the following Simple Minds song reached number 1 in the UK charts? So here we are, multiple choice again. Don't You Forget About Me, Alive and Kicking, or Belfast Child? Who was the keyboard player? I Will Be Done once. Which? Okay, if anybody gets that other than I Will Be Done, we'll give you a bonus point. Okay, 3 Simple Minds songs. Which of them got to number 1? Don't You Forget About Me, Alive and Kicking, or Belfast Child? Last question. Fat Swallow. I love that name. Fat Swallow. I think you get away with that nowadays. Fat Swallow was famous for playing which instrument? I assume that will be done. That's Paul saying which keyboard player in Simple Minds. It's a tough one. Dom saying lots of parties at Labour Party conference where that song makes the crowd go wild. Okay. I don't get invited to parties at the Labour Party conference. Okay, give you a minute or so to get those questions in order, and then I'll give you the second 25 answers. We're running quite well to time tonight, so it's only 12 minutes to. That's just, by the way, proof that this is live. 12 minutes to 8 o'clock. Nothing this bad could be pre-recorded, could it? Dom says it's who you know. Absolutely right. But you know me, I know you. Still don't get in. Right. Are we ready for the answers? Anybody not? Say so now or forever hold your peace. But not in public. I can feel the tension. It's palpable out there. The answer to question number 26. In which year, did Simon & Garfunkel release their album Bridge Over Troubled Water? 1970. Which city in South Carolina gave its name to a popular dance in the early 20th century? It's Charleston. What musical gave Jason Donovan his first starring West End role? Anybody put Neighbours, you can leave the room in disgrace. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Who sang Anyone Who Had a Heart in 1964? Now, even if you're very young, this should have been easy. Cilla Black, Burt Bacharach wrote it. Who composed the ballet Sleeping Beauty? Tchaikovsky, of course. And then in a similar vein, of course, what was the title of Oasis's 1994 debut single? Plane going through the sound barrier. Supersonic was the answer. Very similar to Tchaikovsky and Sleeping Beauty in many ways. How was 80s music star Stuart Goddard better known? Adamant. So, Paul, you went to school with him? Wow. You came through it intact, that's all I can say. In what year did Elvis buy Graceland? 57, 62 or 68? It's 1957, very early in his career. Had a first number 1 in 56. What was the name of Chuck Berry's 1972 hit, which gave him his first number 1? I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but it was called My Ding-a-Ling. I remember watching him on Top of the Pops doing that. He can't get away with that. But he did. Right, Dom says French national anthem and the Labour Party anthem is back in the game. Well, okay. See how you do. Does a record turntable revolve clockwise or anti-clockwise? Clockwise, very easy. Unless you've got a very expensive deck, but that's beyond the remit of this quiz. What type of music originated in Seattle in the early 90s and brought commercial success for Nirvana? It was grunge. Whose only UK top 10 single is Oxygen Part 4? Imagine going to a record shop and asking for that. Can I have Oxygen Part 4, please? It was Jean-Michel Jarre. And that's question 37. 38. What nationality was the composer Handel? German. 39. Who had a number 1 in 1960 called Only the Lonely? Roy Orbison, he had a picture of him without his dark glasses. He wasn't blind, by the way. I forget why he wore dark glasses all the time. I think it was bad eyesight or something, or had to protect his eyes from the sun, which is pretty much why anybody wears dark glasses. Which Dire Straits album was the best-selling album in the UK in the 80s? It was Brothers in Arms. 41, which actor had a #1 hit in 1975 with the song If? Telly Savalas. If you can tell me who the composer was or the band he played in, I'll give you a bonus for that. Who actually wrote the song If? Which American singer has a backing band called the E Street Band? It was Bruce Springsteen. Most of the E Street Band went on to become actors. What is the largest stringed instrument in a classical orchestra? It was double bass. Pretty easy, really. Which group had a hit album in 1977 with a rival? Cryptic clue on this one. It's quite amusing to think about it. 44, this question. It was ABBA, of course. And just to make it really easy for you, I put a picture of Abba Kyari, president of Nigeria, who is passed on now. How easy was that? Which all-male group spent more weeks on the UK charts in the 80s than any other group? Well, of course, it was Madness. No, it wasn't Madness, it was the band Madness, as opposed to being very silly. Who reached #7 in the UK charts in 1972 with the single Layla? Derek and the Dominoes. And it was Pattie Boyd, Patty Harrison, and Eric Clapton, of course, famously stole Patty away from George Harrison. I'll go into that. What is the title of the French national anthem? This one's for Dominic. La Marseillaise. Dominic's now got a better French accent than me. It was Cal actually said Dom's back in the game. Well, I hope you were as well, Cal. In 1997, which song by Dee Ream did the Labour Party adopt as a theme tune to their general election campaign? It was Things Can Only Get Better. It's got a sort of hollow ring to it now. Which of the following Simple Minds songs reached #1 in the UK charts? Don't You Forget About Me, Alive and Kicking, or Belfast Child? Well, strangely, it wasn't Don't You Forget About Me, it was Belfast Child. Might have caught a few of you out, that one. Fats Waller was famous for playing which instrument? Okay, nice and easy. It was the piano. All right, Dominic is put up on screen. In case you're wondering why that strange word is up on the screen, it's my favourite French word. It's the only word I can get my true French Gallic accent out with. And it's, shall I give you a little rendition? Yes, I can hear you shouting. Prestidigitateur. And fast finger merchant, it means, or a magician. The reason Derek and the Dominoes was so called because they were misannounced. They were actually called Eric and the Dynamos. Okay. Paul was obviously there. Thy Will Be Done, 38. Very good. Joe Ashdown, 40. Wow. That's supremely good. Super good. 40. Wow. The Dio, you had a bit of a knockback there, 28. You're not paying attention in the second half. I don't think the questions were any more difficult. So anyway, Joe, very good. Cal and Dom need to own up. Do tell all your friends about this next week, by the way. It's going to get a massive boost on Google when I get my funding through from Google. They allow charities a huge amount of free ad spend. You have to go through this complicated process to get it. So you guys are kind of the pioneers. You've opened the way forward. And when we get hundreds, if not thousands, you might have to work a bit harder. So Dominic, 15. Stephen Chrissy, 39.5. Wow. It's good, though. I thought some people would get high 30s. Didn't expect a 40. Cal, 27. Second half was harder. Oh, I don't know about that. Marseillaise and D-Ream. These are pretty easy. Did anyone get Professor Brian Cox? Ah, right, in D-Ream. You're absolutely right. I forgot about him. Professor has become a very well-known astronomer. Well, physics professor. And he was a keyboard player in D-Ream. Very good. Extra point if you got that. You can amend your point. There was another question as well. I can't remember what it was now. Oh, yes, Telly Savalas and If, who wrote the original. It was David Gates of Bread. It's a very nice original of that song. And then Telly Savalas, who can't sing, plodded his way through it at a very slow pace in pretentious and portentous tones to make it sound very profound. Okay, so highest score this week, Joe Ashdown. Very good indeed, Joe. Well done. And Paul say, who loves you, baby? Telly Savalas catchphrase, I suppose. Loves? Oh, loves, yes, as opposed to oaths. We don't want anybody oaths you, baby. So, well done. You've completed week 4 of the quiz. And a good quiz, Joe says. A close finish. It was, actually. 39.5 for the Dio family. That's the extended family. They include 1 or 2 music professors, I think. And then we had 38. Who got 38? I forget now. Stephen Chrissy got 39.5. So well done, everybody. Jen, 13, same as last week. There you go. I'm stuck on that. Bible We Done says, Mr. Ashdown, you are in our sights. We're going to have to practice for next week. But I will make the... Starcotic, by the way, is my wife, Natasha. Got 2. That's slightly embarrassing, Natasha. But I think you only did 2, didn't you? And the 2 you did were probably ones that you actually set in the first place. No Russian questions this week, though, you will have noticed. I'd like to throw in a couple of Russian questions. Natasha is Russian, in case you're wondering. Russian pop artists are pretty tough. But we did do Rasputin in the first week, I think. So thank you all for taking part. We're coming up to a minute to 8 o'clock. So we're bang on time. And Natasha says next week. So that's sounds like a threat to me. And no, she didn't give me my black eye. Just, in case you were worried about that. Callum, you haven't told me about Bank Holiday Monday. You'll need to tell me whether we can go and have a picnic in Preston Park or something like that. Dio, say thanks. Thank you. And Paul says, she will get there. Don't rush. Okay, I think that's a sardonic don't rush. But thank you all for taking part. I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to have my dinner and have a couple of drinks probably as well. Thank you all for taking part. It's been great fun. We'll do the same thing again next week. And we'll see if we can make a little more contemporary next week. So thank you. Goodbye. Nice to see you all. Bye for now.